Live from the Export Beer Garden studio and brought to you as always by Export Ultra, the beer for here. This is the Agenda podcast for Monday, the 4th of November.
The Agenda Podcast, the home of sporting nonsense and claptrap. Brought to you by Export Ultra.
Paul Maoate on the show towards the end from the TAB to preview the Melbourne Cup, which is tomorrow. We're going to talk about the Kiwis, Black Caps, everything in just a minute. Is it Guy Fawkes today?
Tomorrow.
5th
Tuesday.
of November.
Yeah, never remember 5th of November or something.
Yeah.
Oh, some bullshit like
Remember the 5th of November.
That's the one. And it, like I said last week, free swing for anyone who wants to shoot guns in public.
Yep.
It's a free swing tomorrow night because no one can tell the difference between a Roman candle exploding and a shotgun going off. So.
That is ridiculous. It's only flash neighbourhoods who are like, oh my God, was that a gunfire? It's like, when has there been fucking gunfire in Birkenhead? You know what I mean? Like, you know if someone's letting off a gun.
Yeah.
The fireworks have already started in my neighbourhood. That drive me up the wall.
Oh yeah, they're everywhere. I was playing around to golf yesterday. I think you were as well. By the looks of your sosh men.
I was there on Saturday.
Yeah, but I was playing golf with my son at 4:30 in the afternoon, and a whole volley of fireworks went off at 4:30, blazing sunshine. I was like, who the fuck is doing that?
I think there's teenage kids across the road from me. They're doing the same thing. It's like, what a waste of fucking time and money.
I feel like their parents are out and they've let them off or something. It's like, what's the point?
Well, this goes back to Jerry's theory on combining all of the events around this time of year into one weekend. So I think you might have a better grasp on this than I do.
Daylight savings.
Yeah.
Labor Day.
Yeah.
Guy Fawkes and trick-or-treating. So you have the trick-or-treating when it's still light.
Still dark.
So when it's light.
Right.
And then daylight savings kicks in. And the next night you have Guy Fawkes. And then you have the day off on Monday.
So other way around. So it's dark.
So it's dark for the Guy Fawkes. Because at the moment you've got to stay up till fucking 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Yeah. And then you switch it around. What? So you want to trick or treat during the daylight?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because you do look out for the pedos, so you need it to be light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then daylight savings, Halloween, Guy Fawkes, and Labour weekend,
and have a day off. The super weekend.
Yeah.
Because no one gives a shit about Guy Fawkes. You don't have to have it on that day. Same with trick or treating, Halloween. It doesn't have to be on that day.
No.
It doesn't. You just set it. And Labor Day, it's just a public holiday. Who cares? And then daylight savings, that's arbitrary as well. So just someone combine them, for Christ's sake. It's punishing for parents as well.
And that's why we're asking for your vote at the upcoming election, the ACC party, because that's it. We've only got one policy, and it's that.
Yeah, that and creating a super weekend, and has to be Auckland. Sorry, everywhere else, where we do everything in one weekend. So we do the V8s, the America's Cup. The Auckland Marathon, any other international, Sail GP, everything just happens in 1 3-day period up in Auckland, super weekend.
So we can all clear our schedules.
Yes.
And the beginning of that weekend, we sing the national anthem, and that's it, done for every event.
One haka.
Yeah, and that's it, done for the rest of the year. All right, let's start with the biggest sporting thing that happened across the weekend, and it had me glued to my couch yesterday. It finished at such an awesome time yesterday.
8:30.
Oh my God. And it was the Black Caps going into the history books, 3-0 whitewash of India. I mean, it was so tense that even my missus was sitting there watching the game. She never watches test match cricket.
Oh, it was so good. I didn't think we had enough runs, if I was honest.
Neither.
I looked at it and I was like, that's probably maybe 30, 40 short, I reckon, to putting some serious pressure on them. And then they were 40 for 5. And I was like, yeah, boy. And then I basically went straight to a TV because I wasn't actually paying any attention to it until someone texted me. Yeah. And straight to a TV, and I was gripped for the next hour and a half as it ebbed and flowed as that Rishant punt. I was like, oh, this little fatty's going to take it away from us. And then he got out. Got reviewed a couple of times, then he was another review, and then and then he stood there and argued. Yeah, he stood next to the umpire. And the umpires go like, "Nothing to do with us, mate. It's all Paul Rifle up in the box. Yeah. You can't influence us."
The rifleman's up there doing his work,
and I think the rifleman looked at that scenario and said, "You know what? Fuck you. You're out.
Yeah,
you're out anyway."
Oh, you're gonna sit there and chirp the other umpire? Get fucked.
Yeah.
Rishabh, did you see? I think it was during the lunch break. They played a slow motion clip of him doing like a handspring. It was shockingly athletic. He got a run up and went just straight forward and just vaulted off his hands and back onto his feet again.
Oh, was he showing off? Was he?
Yeah.
Yeah, that he's not all.
It was in the warm up before the game. It was was one of the wildest things I've ever seen. It makes me think I could probably do it.
But yeah, that's the first time that India have ever been whitewashed in a series at home.
Yeah, well, South Africa got them 2-0.
Oh, did they?
Yes.
Oh, in a 3-match test series.
So 3-match test series.
This is another wild stat. It is the first time New Zealand have won 3 tests in a series. Because we only ever play 2-match series or 3, and we've never won all 3.
Yeah, so no one's ever done 4 or 5 either. So this is it's the only one that counts. A 2-match series, South Africa.
So good. And then this is we talked about it on the Matt and Jerry show this morning, which I think you're on tomorrow.
Don't dead name it. Matt's not on that show anymore.
Yeah, sorry, the Hauraki Breakfast with Jeremy and friends, and it's kept our World Test Championships alive.
Yes,
so we've got to beat England 3-0. So that's the first hurdle.
So I wrote the rankings down. So Oz, India, Sri Lanka, then us. But us and Sri Lanka, and I think South Africa as well, are on like 54% win-loss. And then India are on 58. They've played 3 more games than us, 2 wins and a draw.
But they've got 5 tests in Aussie this summer.
Yeah.
And that is going to be tough for them.
That's a good point.
If Australia beat them 4-1 or 4-0, then not 5-0, because 5-0 will vault Australia to the top. Then we're in with a chance. And then South Africa need to beat Pakistan and Sri Lanka at home. They've got 2 tests each against those, which is doable.
Yeah.
And then this is the hard part. Then Sri Lanka need to beat Australia at home for us to qualify.
And we basically need to sweep England.
Yes, that's all. That's the one job we need to do is sweep England.
Yeah.
And then the rest is up to the rest of the teams.
The world.
Yeah, the rest of the world. It's just, all I'm saying is there's still a chance.
But this is, I mean, it was ridiculous when we won 2 in a row. It was ridiculous when we won 1 in a row.
We celebrated the first one, didn't we?
Yeah. And we're like, holy
woo!
shit.
First win in 50 years, whatever it was.
And the whole series, here's how it's gone, is we bowled them out for 46 in that first one, and then we were like, yeah, but what are they going to do to us? And then we won, and we're like, oh, shit. Yeah, but what's the pitch going to look like in the second one? Oh, we won another one? You don't win 3. Santner's out. He was the hero of the last game. Oh, fuck, we won all 3.
Yep, Ajaz back in Mumbai, back in his favourite ground, his place of his birth.
He loves the wank.
Loves the wank. He
What is
loves
that?
the wank. And we beat them with spin. We beat them at their own game. We talked to Wags this morning. He's got a new book out.
Yeah.
And he was talking about the fact that, we've got sort of simulated Indian conditions in these indoor nets they've got now, the Mount Maunganui and a few other places where they can simulate the conditions over in India. Hence, I think the batting against the spinners over there was amazing.
It was really good.
Like in terms of what we used to do. It was attacking, and then obviously the spinners. My big concern was that Ajaz's last ever match for New Zealand. Because we don't tour India or the subcontinent again until 2026, I think.
And I think he's my age, about 33 or something.
No, he's 36.
Oh, is he older than me?
Yeah.
You're saying there's hope for me yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is disappointing.
Yeah.
But I just think I enjoy watching test matches that spin more than just green seamers.
Yeah.
It's so much. I mean, we're only scoring 250 runs, but there's so much happening within those 250 runs, you know?
Yeah. It's nothing like a low-scoring run chase thriller.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, he was 36 2 weeks ago. There you go.
Yeah.
Ajaz Patel. So that could have been his last ever game for New Zealand because he's not going to play in New Zealand.
Yeah,
he's not going to play in New Zealand.
I reckon we should try and put some of those pitches together. Like, with the technology everyone's got now.
Just a couple of dust bowls against England.
Dust bowls, man.
Surprise them with a dust bowl in England.
Yeah.
And England come out and go, what?
Unveil a dust. Hagley would be where you'd do it.
Yep, just start rolling the pitch now.
I've seen dust bowls in South Canterbury. You can do it.
Yeah, I hope they're still partying. I hope they're still going because they deserve it. Daryl Mitchell had a great speech at the end of the game where he was kind of rubbing it in their noses by saying, hey, we're just a bunch of Kiwis who just love playing cricket. You know, they're a bunch of overpaid superstars. He didn't say that, but he said they're a bunch of superstars.
He didn't say it with his words.
No, he implied it that we're just Kiwis who just love playing.
Dudes,
we're just
crack.
Yeah. It's
Taking on the world.
It's just a real fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you, you underestimated us, and we pulled your pants down and spanked your little bodies.
It is one of those things where you see those. For some reason, watching India, you think they're so much better than us. And anytime you see a Kiwi in one of those situations, you're like, oh, fuck, they're not actually that. It's like Stephen Adams in the NBA. You're like, look at Dwight Howard and these dudes. You're like, look at the state of these guys. Like, we never produce athletes like that. And then Stephen Adams is throwing these guys around. You're like, oh, okay, so they're not that good. Jimmy Neesham, I mean, everyone, it was all over social media last night. Jimmy Neesham, what do you eat for food? The stud, formerly Little Lamb Neesham, some say he looks like an alpaca.
Yeah.
He posted onto his Instagram story, is this the greatest Kiwi sporting achievement of this century?
Oh, okay. That's a hot take.
That is a hot take. I've written down a couple of things that sprung to my mind. You'd have to probably put the goat in the boat in there.
Yep.
In terms of what she's
Achieved
yep. over that. Rugby World Cup back-to-back.
Yes.
11-15. The World Test Championship.
Yep. Yeah.
I think this is more impressive than the World Test Championship.
Yeah.
And then the time I charged down a conversion against Temuka in 09.
Yeah,
So those are the big.
Yeah.
Those are the big four.
How long did that person take to line up that kick?
Well, the dirty secret is it never got higher than the crossbar. That's how I managed to charge it down.
So they kicked it into you.
It was never going over.
You were just running back to halfway.
I don't know, I was way offside as well. Anyway, yeah, so I don't know, I can't.
That's a hot take. There is people trying to compare it to our series victory in Australia. Our first ever, that was back in '86, I think. That was when. So, but I think that the Australian team at that time, we talked about it this morning with Mike Hesson, the Australian team at that time were ranked like 7th in the world. You know, and so I think although it's quite a big task winning in Australia, they weren't the greatest team, whereas India are the world's number 1 team. They are ranked number 1 in their home conditions, and we beat them.
And they've got all their dudes, you know. It's not like this is a down era for them.
It's great. It's great stuff, and unfortunately, I've had to cancel every single town hall, and I got some big news. The Black Caps Supporters Support Group has been disbanded.
Oh, you've torn it down.
Taking the T-shirts off sale. Look, they could be. Look, it's not saying that we can bring it back. We'll probably bring it back at some stage. But for now, the Black Cap Supporters Support Group is no longer. We do not need to hold each other.
No.
You just celebrate with your friends.
That's right. Give a big middle finger to Indian cricket fans.
Correct. Yeah.
And just ride this.
Oh, I tailed into a couple on the comments as well on socials. God, they're fuckwits.
Well, the funny thing is that we posted that Coley meme again, the Tiger King meme yet again. And I was scrolling through the comments looking for the Indian fans waiting in. Yeah. But it was all just Kiwis.
Yeah.
For the first 300 comments was just people just being so stoked that we won.
There was one Indian fan coming in kind of broken English saying, how many ICC cups you won, ha ha ha. And then I wrote about, what about Southampton, cunt? And didn't come back to me.
Yeah.
I might have had a few beers when I wrote that. Yeah. I was smashing beers watching that.
God bless it. Yeah, it is. It's fucking. I don't know. It felt so good.
It's so good.
The image that they projected over the top of Wankhede Stadium with Tom Latham and the series score. I just about wanted to screenshot that and make it my bloody screensaver. It's just giant. He's got his arms folded 3-0.
It's so good.
Suck it. What are they saying over there, do you reckon? Like the papers or anything?
I guarantee they're saying this doesn't count. It's all about Australia. We're just preparing for Australia. The results in Australia are the ones that count.
Yeah.
We need to focus on that. They'll be washing over with that.
Yeah. That's bullshit. It's bullshit.
Although I can't imagine they're going to get away with it. They've just been humiliated by a little country in the South Pacific.
Yeah, I always wonder what their media reports on shit over there. Do they talk about it or do they
It's not as controlled as, say, in the Middle East. I think there's still open criticism.
But if you watch Cricinfo, there's no, because that's Indian owned.
Yeah.
They do not shit on the Indian team. Yeah. And they gloss over any of the losses.
As it was funny, when we were talking to Mike Hesson this morning, Jerry said, he said, I've got a text here. I think he made it up. He goes, isn't it great to beat these arrogant blah, 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 blah. And Mike Hesson goes, Look, I work in India. So I'm not going to pass judgment on that.
His house was purchased in rupees.
Yeah.
He's not going to weigh in on that one.
He was good about it, though.
Yeah. It's just so good. It's just so good. I could just sit in front of this microphone for an hour and say it's so good. But we won't. We are selling our ute. Before we walked in here, all thanks to Auto Trader, the bids are up to $7,450, which is still a bargain. It's still about half of those bids are me. But there's about $5,000 worth of stuff that comes with this because some of the other stations that we work with have chipped in. So if you place the winning bid, not only do you get the ute and all of the proceeds we're going to donate to Movember NZ, they've filled the glove box and the boot with all sorts of stuff. We've got $1,000 worth of petrol vouchers, which you will need, $1,000 worth of grocery vouchers, plus an iPhone 16 from our mates at ZM, and a Marshall Amp beer fridge dropped into the tray as well.
Yeah, I think I chucked a Makita Site Radio in there as
Yes,
well.
I've seen that too. So there is over $5,000 worth of stuff in there. So like, you're out of your mind not to at least just bid $5,000. So whatever you're actually, there's a few different ways you can skin it in your own head. You can say, I'm making, this charitable donation, or I'm buying $5,000 worth of stuff, and then I'm only paying $2,500 for the ute.
Yes.
There's all sorts of different ways that you can justify this purchase to yourself. But at the end of the day, what it really is a sick 98 straight 6.
Yep.
It's a gas guzzler.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. I'm not going to hide the fact that you're going to be fueling that thing hardcore.
But
But when you start it up and when you start, that hum on your balls on that brand new seat.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. An EV, even a little hatchback, doesn't make my balls tingle, And this thing does. In fact, that should have been the first thing at the top of the listing.
This thing will make your balls tingle.
Will make your balls tingle. So go and invest in that thing. It's running for the whole month, so I expect that this will ramp up towards the end there.
Yeah, just text Ute to 3236 and you'll get a direct link to Auto Trader.
Yep, brilliant. All right, let's take a break. There's still so much sport to get to. We'll be right back. On Saturday night, Lane, I went down to my local RSA with McConey and Chris Key and Storm, and we watched the football, and then we watched the league. It was actually a great Saturday.
Oh, it was next level that Saturday because I went to the Breakers. So I watched the last part of the football on my phone in transit to Spark Arena and saw the 2 goals and was celebrating with people around me. And then I went to the Breakers game, which started at 7.
Yeah.
So I watched a bit of the Breakers, and then the league kicked off. And then the cricket was on at the same time. So I was at the Breakers, watching the Breakers play the Adelaide 36ers, and had one phone playing Tonga versus the Kiwis, and the other phone I had Black Caps India. And someone was sitting behind me going, you're running a very complex operation there. And I was like, shh.
Shush, I've got the TAB open in the background here as well.
And I was flicking in between punting as well. But the Breakers, that flew under the radar, but they played out of their skins.
Did they?
Yeah.
When you get 10,000 dudes filling out Spark Arena watching League on their phones, there's no atmosphere like it. And cricket. And League, which we lost 25-24 to Tonga. This was a bruising game.
Oh, man.
Straight from the outset, eh?
Yeah, the hits. It was like the biggest hitmen of the NRL.
Yeah.
Just put face to face and told to run it straight.
Yeah. Little disappointed in the haka. They were too separated. Yeah. And also, they need to both be going at the same time.
Yeah, and the irony is the All Black one got face to face with the English.
Yeah.
The English went up to halfway, and we went over the 10-metre line and got in their face. And I was like, fuck yeah! What I want.
This is what we want.
Yeah.
We all want this.
And then a cruel irony that the Kiwis didn't do it with Tonga.
And it should have been going at the same time because fuck, that would have looked sick if they're both going, right in each other's faces, still going. They came out, Tonga, and it was like when they scored first, and I was like, Jesus Christ. I was like, okay, they got 10 minutes of fizz, and then they're going to run out. They didn't. They kept going all through that first half. They smashed us. And in the second half, it settled a little bit. We started to score. Sean Johnson started getting the boys fizzed up. But they were just as good. I mean, evidently better than we were. And I don't know. It just looked like we had our chances to win it. Sean Johnson had a drop goal. Asako had a drop goal, which he probably should have taken the tackle on. But anyway. Penalty as well that was missed. Again, I keep saying, take the post off the pitch. Here's my flaming hot take from this game. The state of origin rules need to be changed in the NRL because they had 2 origin players on the field because they are a tier 2 nation and we're not allowed state of origin players. So, for example, Kalen Ponga had to decide to play for Australia, even though he's eligible for the Kiwis, because he wanted to play state of origin. If you are playing for Tonga or Samoa, you don't have to make that decision.
So when do they stop becoming tier 2? How often do they have to beat a tier 1 nation to become tier 1?
Today is what I'm saying. Okay. Right now, they need to. So Olakau'atu and Kafusi were their 2 origin players. Kafusi is one of 8 Tongan players born here in New Zealand. 6 of those in Auckland, 1 in Hamilton, and then 1 in Wellington. Saliva Havili, Tui Lolohea, and Jason Tamalolo have all played for the Kiwis. And now they play for Tonga. It's not a level playing field anymore. And so I'm calling for the Australian Rugby League, Andrew Abdo and Peter Volandis, Got to come together, change the rules, level the playing field. It's unfair.
Nah, they'll never do it. It's Australia first, mate. It's Australia's game. Australia without Rugby League is not Australia, so they're not going to change that.
So basically what happens now is if you are of Samoan or Tongan descent, which I think about 80% of the league is now, and you don't make the Australian team, you just go play for Tonga or Samoa, because if Aussie call you back up, you're straight back in there.
Yeah, and you can play Origin, which they make about 60 grand Aussie a game.
That's right. But then we're hamstrung, and all of these players that are New Zealand-born players that should by rights be in our team are now over there playing for those teams.
Good point.
Level the playing field, man.
That's a good point. So we're knocked out? We're out?
Yeah, well, I mean, we haven't won anything, so yeah, we're out. And then what? Tonga, Australia final.
Yeah.
What? I'll tell you when they'll level the playing field is if Tonga
tip up Australia.
Yeah, they'll be like, nah. Your Origin players are out. Yeah. So yeah, that's my flaming hot take. Auckland FC, I watched that game, like I said, at the Razza. It's just so good having a bit of a rivalry.
Great. It's good. And then there was it sparked up the Phoenix fans too, and that was their biggest in-season crowd they've ever had.
I was saying this to Piney on Friday. This is only good for the Wellington Phoenix.
Yeah.
The introduction to this, because now people give a shit. Like me, I give a shit about the game. Still don't know what's happening on the field, but I give a shit about the rivalry there, and it's good to watch. And that Port end looked insane.
Yeah, they looked a bit lonely there, didn't they? Because they had empty sections either side of them, and then they were just put into this kind of little kind of pot of fans, which seemed a bit over the top, to be honest. There's this threat of violence, which is never going to happen. If you've been amongst those fans, or any of those fans, no one's throwing bones.
There's no violence.
Nah, there's no violence. So the return derby is in about 4 weeks' time, on the 6th of December, back at Go Hard Stadium. So that is going to be a cracker.
Yeah, that is going to be a cracker. I noticed so many Steady the Ship hats in the crowd. What I will say is, and obviously the team's only, 3 weeks old, 2 weeks old, 3 weeks old. Haven't really figured out what we do when we celebrate if you're an Auckland fan, because they scored and then they jumped the hoardings and were in front of the Port. And it was just like, all right, Auckland FC fans need to figure out one thing that happens when... I reckon we flood the stands with Steady the Ship hats. They take them off and wave them.
Wave them around their head.
Like the soldiers leaving for World War II.
Yeah. Or do they throw them in the air like they're graduating and then just try and gather them afterwards?
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah.
That'll be quite hard to
control.
Yeah.
There'll be hats everywhere.
To get your hat back. But
quite bad if one person's got knits.
Oh my God,
been knits through the Port like nobody's
Kutu's issue in the Port.
Kutu's take down the Port. It would be a master plan from the Phoenix, from the Yellow Fever.
Yeah, introduce knits into the Port.
Just get one Steady the Ship hat.
That's not bad. And then we're just like dousing people on the way out, treating them all for Kutus. So yeah, I was pretty excited by that game. The one goal, everyone went nuts. Then they piled on a second one, and it's like,
yeah, they threw everyone forward though. The Phoenix, so desperate to score.
Did you see that head clash?
I didn't actually.
There was a fucking banger of a head clash. Two dudes, and it's worse than rugby or league, because in rugby and league you're bracing for contact. Yep. These two dudes, they were just going for the ball, not looking at each other, and just full on bang, noggin on noggin. Split wide open. One dude's wrapped up like the mummy. It was an all-time.
No HIA though.
I think one of them went off. Did one of them go off? But I think one of them got to stay on.
Yeah, there is an HIA protocol only just in this year, I think. But unlike league, he didn't stay off for very long.
Yeah.
Right, and also it's like, do they have to do HIA every time they hit her the ball?
No.
Sometimes you get cop it in the head.
That's the thing.
At a hundy. Yeah.
Anyway, and also, what a massive weekend of sport, because the All Blacks played and we still haven't talked about it.
No, and Liam Lawson, more points for him. And the Brazilian
points.
Yeah, he came 9th.
Oh, great.
So he qualified 5th, which is amazing. He was 5th on the grid, but dropped back.
Yeah.
Verstappen came from like 15th on the grid to win it. But most importantly, he beat Sergio Perez again, but not his teammate Sonoda. But he's in the points again, so that's all you could ask for.
Yeah.
So from Liam Lawson.
That is huge. So the All Blacks won by 2. Squeaky bum time. There was a drop goal that could have won it.
Yeah.
It was back and forth, up and down. I thought when we scored, we looked great. Obviously, Wallace Satiti looked great. Asafo Aumua had to play way more than he wanted to because Cody Taylor got HIA'd.
Yes, and he's unavailable for the Island game.
Yes, as is
Bodie.
As is Bodie.
Oof. They're like potentially two of our best players right now.
Well, particularly if you're a Razor and you've just benched Mackenzie for Bodie.
Yeah.
Now you got to ring Damien and be like, hey, what are you up to on
Sunday morning?
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, I thought Asafo Amua looked great.
Like a few line-out throw issues, but yeah.
But a wrecking ball.
Around the park, he was great.
Fuck it, get one of the wingers to throw it in.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Well, they used to, didn't they?
Cheslin Colby's still doing it for South Africa.
Is he?
Yeah. Every now and then, if they're out on his wing, he'll throw into the line out so they can have an extra forward in the thing.
I see that's the crazy thinking of that crazy man.
It is. Yeah.
Hey, going back to Liam Lawson, that was our hunch. That was our agenda hunch.
Oh,
him to
the
score points.
Yeah.
So there you go. So if you followed us in on that, then you'd be in with that money.
And speaking of TAB and hunches, let's take one more quick break because tomorrow is the Melbourne Cup, so we will be joined by Paul Maoate right after this break. Well, it's a great honour and privilege to have live and in the flesh Paul Maoate from the TAB. Paul, big week for you. Anything on this week?
Yeah, it's just skipped me mind at the moment. There's something on tomorrow. Look, it'll come to me.
Yeah.
It'll definitely come.
Well, there's a couple of races on tomorrow. No, Ellerslie,
yeah.
Wingatui down there in Dunedin.
That's it.
It's Wingatui.
That's it, Wingatui.
Oh, yeah.
It's Wingatui.
Well,
Yeah.
get on the swing at wing.
No, it's the Melbourne Cup tomorrow. Everyone's talking about it. Some punishers will show up to their workplace in a suit for no reason tomorrow. I feel like if you're watching it, you can show up in a suit.
And also, can I say, if you're not into it, and, some people are like, oh, yeah, whatever, grow up, okay? Because this is a great excuse to take the afternoon off work. So even if you're not really
That's a
into
great
it,
point.
just pretend like you're into it.
Yes.
Wear a suit to work. Wear a fascinator and say it's Melbourne Cup day. I'm fucking pissing off at 3 p.m. to go and take in the vibes, and you're not going to stop me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, don't sit at your computer going, yeah, don't know Melbourne Cup.
3 o'clock.
Oh, 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
I don't know, just in case our bosses were listening.
Right, of course.
Because we're
Yes.
leaving at 12 to go to a full-time bar. But, yeah, anyway.
It'll be a great place to be tomorrow.
It will be.
Yes, we might see you down there, Paul. But my first question, it's the same question I ask every year. And funnily enough, it's the same answer every year, but I can still never remember it. What race and what time is the actual Melbourne Cup itself?
It's fairly easy because it's the same every single year.
He's a bit thick.
Okay, then. Go on, Lane.
Quarter past 5?
It's 5 o'clock. Well, it's scheduled to go at 5 o'clock.
Right, okay.
And it's usually meeting 7,
Yeah,
Flemington.
yeah.
No, in fact, it's always meeting 7,
7.
Flemington,
Yeah.
race 7.
Yeah.
At, if you want to use the 24-hour clock, 1700.
Oh, that's easy.
Okay, so
Okay, there you go.
17.
Yeah, okay.
I'll remember
Can
that.
we remember that? If
Yeah.
I come back next year,
Yeah. And I'm
you'll
still
ask
here.
me the same question.
Oh, well. I can't. It's the first thing everyone's like, oh, what time is this actual? Because when people are watching it in the office, they'll always be like, oh, is this the Melbourne Cup? You're like, well, it is, but this one isn't. But then the next one, this is the bloody Schwepp of Essence plate or whatever.
One of the great ruses we did when Lee Hart and Jason Hoyt were on Bouger, I remember, and I was looking after Hodaki, and they came out and said, what are we doing around the Melbourne Cup? And I was like, I don't know. You can take it live if you want, or maybe just play last year's. And so they did, and I didn't quite realise how much of a kerfuffle that would cause because they played the one, but halfway in the race, they were like, this doesn't sound like they made it, so it wasn't, but people believed it. And the horse that won the year before was also in
Yes,
that race.
That happens quite a bit.
And so people were celebrating that they'd won because they'd put money on it, and then
They started ringing us up and complaining.
yes, of course. I didn't, because I thought, I mean, it's Boucher. Like the show was built on just bullshit. So I presumed that
Come on,
people would
guys.
know. And yeah, the backlash was quite severe around people and misleading people, and the TAB got involved. And
Wow.
TAB have come a long way since then. I think they've got a sense of humour, but about 5 years ago.
I must have because I'm still working here.
yeah, totally.
So is there a prohibitive favourite tomorrow, Paul, for the actual race 7 Melbourne Cup?
It's a fairly wide open field, which makes it so much more interesting. There's no out and out hot favourite.
And we were saying this morning, people always say, oh, the favourite never wins at the Melbourne Cup. Is that true?
Well, never it's a very, very long time. So I wouldn't say that, but favourites don't perform very well in Melbourne Cups. The last favourite to win was Fiorente back in, I think it was 2013 actually. So
Jesus.
what's that? About 11 years ago.
Yeah.
That was the last time. So if you like backing favourites, you might want to mix your sort of bets up a bit. Have a little spread
Yeah.
sort of thing. But the fact that this year there's a couple of joint favourites and they've sort of been battling away to see who is favourite, it makes it just a wee bit different this year.
Yeah, and it's good for the office sweepstake as well. It's a bit more even.
Exactly. Usually you pick out a couple and then the guy that gets the favourite thinks he's a good thing.
Yeah.
No, he's not. But if you're like in that sort of from around $9 to $20,
Yeah.
someone a runner that's paying around that, they are the ones that usually, in fact, the last sort of 4 or 5 years, you'll find that the winners have paid between $9 and $25. So,
Right, so that's sort of the sweet spot.
Yes.
So what are some of the names that are standing out to you, or what are people saying to you around the office or around the traps?
So now you've got to block out the white noise because
Yeah.
there's always a lot of chat around and everyone's a Melbourne Cup maestro.
Everyone's got a tip.
Everyone has a tip. So you'd be taking the whole field if you listen to everyone. So if we have a look, why don't we look at the Kiwi runners first?
Yes.
Okay.
And we've got 3 in the race. The best chance of the Kiwi runners, and he's paying a wee bit of money, opened up at $71, touched $51, I think overnight, now just back out to $61. Number 6, Sharp and Smart, trained by Graham and Debbie Rogerson,
Sharp and Smart.
to be ridden by Mickey D.
Oh,
Now, Sharp and Smart, he's a 5-year-old. 2 years ago, he was the best 3-year-old in New Zealand.
Right.
He won the New Zealand Derby. He won the Group 1 Herbie Dyke against the older horses.
He won the Herbie Dyke.
He won the Herbie Dyke. You like that,
I
don't
like,
you?
yeah, I like the Herbie Dyke, yeah.
Yeah, right. He won that. Now, he's had a few issues, and he...
Off the field.
has he been out?
He was...
He didn't turn up late to the bus or
I
anything?
can't. So, he hasn't found that form
Yeah.
that he showed as a 3-year-old. He should get the 2 miles, right?
Yeah.
And he ran a very, very encouraging 3rd at Moonee Valley a
Okay.
few weeks ago. So if he was to find the form that he had as a 3-year-old,
Yeah.
he's definitely a nice little each way go.
Oh, damn it, I've just put it on the nose.
Jesus. He's a hair trigger. He's a hair trigger.
There we go.
I just stuck 10 on the nose.
On
Damn
the
it.
snout. Wow. Tell you what.
I hope I get a commission out of this one. Gee, this is great.
Yeah.
So he should.
Yep.
He's probably our best chance. Outside of that, we've got Positivity, number 21, trained by Andrew Forsman, ridden by Winona Costin, $101 at the moment.
Jeez.
And Trust in You, to be ridden by Mark Duplessis, who used to ride here in New Zealand,
Yeah.
now rides over in Australia and Queensland, trained by Bruce Wallace and Grant Cooksley, also out at $101. So the 3 Kiwi runners, they're roughies.
Yeah.
Should we say?
Longish.
Yeah.
Lane's just put another $10 on
Yeah,
it.
that's right. I have. I was thinking because I've tried to follow the form on Melbourne Cups in previous years, and this year I've changed my tactic, Paul Maoate.
Yes.
I've gone for what I think the commentary will sound the best. You know, when they cross the line and the race caller. So I've gone for that.
One
So
smooth operator.
Yeah, so I've gone for Land Legend
Right.
at 15s and Warp Speed at 31 because I could see he goes, coming on the home straight, Warp Speed. He is at Warp Speed and takes him. That's what I'm going for. So I'm going vibe on commentary.
Yeah. He's
With
a
that.
land legend, and
Yeah.
now he's a Melbourne Cup legend.
Correct. Yeah, the line the line they write themselves. Warp Speed and Land Legend write themselves. So I've gone for futures on them. I got Warp Speed at 31 and Land Legend at 15.
Right, Warp Speed, what is it?
Withdrawn just yesterday.
No.
Oh, don't say that. So I put these on like about 3 weeks ago.
That is a shame, isn't it?
Late scratch.
So now Warp Speed is currently $26.
Ah, okay, see, he's
to win the
coming in.
Melbourne Cup. So you got a wee bit of value there.
Yeah,
What you
there
say,
you go.
$31.
Yeah.
It's the Japanese horse. A couple of weeks ago, ran in the Caulfield Cup. Slightly disappointing, you could
Yep.
say.
Just saving
30.
itself.
Okay.
Saving itself.
Language barrier.
Yeah.
Although there was, some would say there was a bias on the track. You had to be up near the front
Right.
at Caulfield that day.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
Right.
So,
Some would say you'd have to be up the front every day.
but certainly when you get to the finishing post, that's always a good thing when you're up front at the finishing post.
And I've done the barrier draw.
They've done the barrier draw.
Yeah. Okay.
At warp speed is jumping out of 3.
Ooh, okay. Is that good? Is that what I mean? Look at the barrier draw. How many horses are there? There's about
40.
There's a lot of horses.
24.
24 horses.
Yes. Yep.
Where in the barrier draw is it all determined with the conditions, or is it best to be on the inside?
It's usually the horse. If
Yeah.
you've got a horse that likes to go
early?
yeah, you want an inside barrier, so you don't
Okay.
have to come across the whole field
Yes.
to get to the rail.
Yeah.
If you've got a horse that's going to settle back, then you probably want somewhere in the sort of 9 out towards
Yeah.
about 14 sort of thing,
Okay.
because then you can sort of come across, settle midfield, just one off the rail.
Right. And it's all random, isn't it, the draw? It's just
The draw's random.
just to pull a
Complete-
ball out of the basket.
Boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, and that's
Okay.
where you go.
But 24, your race is considerably longer than anyone else's, isn't it? If you're way out there in the car park.
Not too many have won from
24.
the car park.
Yeah.
No. I think now Very Elegant
Yep.
wasn't drawn 24, but was drawn very, very wide when she won with James McDonald aboard.
Yep.
Now, she ran the year before that, had a wide draw, and didn't quite get the trip that she needed. McDonald had her across before they got to the finishing post the first time round.
Yeah.
And was sitting in behind the favourite, one off the rail, perfect. So he knew when to pounce. As they came round the turn, I think the favourite went too early, and he was able to just peel off out of the slipstream.
Yep.
And, well, the rest was history. And I think Very Elegant was paying around $15. So we're in that sort of sweet
Yeah.
spot again.
I think
Okay.
that might have been the year where I accidentally put the bet on twice and it paid out twice.
That's what tends to happen.
Yeah.
And J-Mac, what's J-Mac riding this year? Has he got a mount?
Yes, he does. Where are we?
Because I basically, I don't know much about Australian racing. I actually know even less about New Zealand racing, but I take the tips. But whenever I go to Australia, I just look see what J-Mac's riding.
J-Mac,
and
yeah.
I just get on that.
Yeah.
And it tends to actually more times than not come in.
We're saying they should switch the jockey and horse name around when it's J-Mac.
So you
It
just
should be
put
listed as J-Mac.
J-Mac, and then the horse name
and then the horse
underneath.
name
Yeah.
underneath, yeah.
He doesn't have a right. Oh, he got scratched,
Oh, did he?
unfortunately. So he's not in this year's Melbourne Cup.
Jeez, if you were a horse owner and you saw J-Mac's horse got scratched, wouldn't you give him a bell?
Yeah. Wouldn't you go to your jockey and go, hey, do you want to
Yeah.
maybe?
We'll still pay it.
So I'm fairly sure he was down to ride Via Sistina, who he rode to an 8-length victory in the Cox Plate
Jeez.
a few
Oh.
weeks ago. So the connections, the trainer, have decided not to take her to the Melbourne Cup. They're going to be riding her on the last day, Champions Day,
Okay.
of the Melbourne Cup Carnival.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So outside of the Kiwis, who are some of the big, you talked about those two tied for the favourite.
Yep.
Who are the hot favourites?
So at the moment, Vauban,
Yeah.
number 1, trained by Willie Mullins, to be ridden by William Buick, $6.50. Opened up at 7, so in a touch to $6.50. And Buckaroo, trained by Kiwi, Chris Waller,
Yep.
who plied his trade in Woodville, I think, in the early days.
Jeez.
He's a Woodville boy.
God.
Yeah, now one of the most successful trainer in Sydney, probably in Australia.
Yeah.
You could argue that. Number 2, Buckaroo, $6.50 as well. So, and that opened up at $5.50. So drifted slightly Buckaroo. So equal favourites at the moment. Vauban at $6.50, Buckaroo at $6.50. Now, Vauban number one is, it's not a very good saddlecloth to have on when we're talking about the Melbourne Cup. Very, very hard, because it means you're the top weight.
Yeah.
So you're carrying the heaviest load around
Right.
all the way around that Flemington track.
And how do they decide the weights on that as well? Like, how's that calculated?
So the Victorian Racing Handicapper,
Yep.
he'll look at how the horses have performed, and he'll adjudge each one a weight.
Geez, that's a lot of responsibility on.
It's a hell of a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah. The theory is
Yeah.
he hands the weights out,
Yep.
and when they come around the turn, get to the finish line, all 24 finish at the same time.
Right.
That's what he's going for.
That never happens, obviously,
Yeah.
but that is the sort of theory behind it.
Right.
And do they get? Do occasionally they go? Ooh, I probably shouldn't have put that weight on that horse as it comes dead last. You know, the favourite comes last.
I can tell you that trainers and owners of horses certainly
Right.
Yeah.
argue that before the race,
Yes.
and certainly afterwards.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I can't
yes.
imagine anyone's ever been happy with the weight they've been handed. No one would have been like, yeah, that sounds right.
yeah. Thanks, mate.
No, exactly. And it's like when we price up the Warriors,
Exactly.
Warriors $1.40. Oh, that's ridiculous. Why are they $1.40?
Yeah.
That can't be right.
Where do they? This is a question that has nothing to do with anything. Whereabouts do they put the weights? Are they in the saddle? Are they? What are they? Are they little bits of lead? Are they coins? Are they like what are they? Are they donuts?
I like that coins. No, they are weight. They are weights.
Just like
and they tuck them in.
tuck them into the saddle, the area.
Yeah, they got pockets there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the maximum weight that a horse has ever carried? Or in New Zealand, does it just keep on going?
What sort of range are we dealing with?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, look, we could go up to 66. Well, when you get over the jumps,
Yeah.
we're talking up to 70 kilos.
They're carrying 70 kilos of lead weight
Yeah.
or whatever
Now,
weight's in there.
That used to be the case, and now they've brought it back slightly, so
Shit.
the horses don't have to carry as much. But it means the ones who are, I guess, less likely to win carry even less weight. So,
Right.
And there's not a lot of jockeys that get down to that weight.
Yeah, I was
So
about to say.
your lightweights,
Yeah.
like you two,
Yeah.
Obviously.
yeah, you almost have your. There's not a lot out there. We need you because you're one of the only ones who can get down to 49.5 or 50.
Yeah, right. So what if you counteracted I'm not going to put weights on my horse. I'm going to put Jeremy Wells, who's 107 kgs. Instead of taking the 60 kgs, I'm just going to put a large jockey. Is that an option?
Well, you could do that.
That's an option.
It's an option.
You'd rather have a 60-kilo dude with 50 kilos of weight.
It's an option, though. You can throw it out there. You can put Ali Williams on the back of a horse and just take no weight.
Well, I've seen Jeremy run. He'd probably run as fast as the horses.
Oh, no, he's got a shocking gate. Okay, we're doing
It's
this.
a good point. I know what you mean. Is there a gap in the market for a fun-loving jockey?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Yeah, it would stand out literally like a sore thumb.
Yeah, they've given them the Manaia handicap.
I think that's something that we could suggest to the Victorian Racing Club.
I think so.
In one of the lead-up races, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Speaking of the lead-up races, I think one of the things that people always ask for in the on Melbourne Cup Day is there anything in the races beforehand? Any tips that you could dish out? Because some people like to warm up, maybe fill the kitty up a little bit before we get to race 7, meet 7, 1700. The actual Melbourne Cup itself.
I love the way you did that, Manaia.
Yeah, of course I knew that coming into this. I just wanted to ask for the listener.
Just for the sake of the listener.
It's just the broadcasting thing. But
you are a true professional.
So have you got any tips leading up to the race itself?
So we've got a couple of domestic meetings on tomorrow. One at Ellerslie, so just a skip and a jump from here.
Yep, it's 2 buses.
And then down south at Wingatui. So if we go to Ellerslie, I'll try and tip you in so that you've got something. You build a bit of a bank for the Melbourne Cup.
Yes,
that's
right.
what you're after.
That's right. Get your eye in so that come race 7 you're seeing a beach ball.
Righty out. Ellerslie race 1, number 7, Wits End. Currently $3.10, but odd surge out to $3.60 right now.
Okay.
You got the odd surge?
Yeah, I got the odd surge. It says 310 on mine, but
It's in there.
I put the odd surge on 360. Yep.
Yeah.
Into it.
Boom, righty ho.
We'll post Lane's bet slip to our Instagram thing so that everyone can follow it in afterwards.
And one more, race 3.
Ellerslie.
Yep, we're still there. And there's already been a bit of money, which would suggest that someone's in the know.
Get on it.
Someone's very, very keen.
Get on it quick because this podcast can really smash them in.
It's the market mover. Number 6, Moving Melody. Was $6.50, now into $4, but with the odd surge, back out to $4.60 for G Lane.
Done.
There we go.
I'm just sitting here. Punt.
And by that stage, you've got enough in your kitty to whip it home come Melbourne Cup race. Paul, just before we let you go, what if you had to stake your life on one horse tomorrow at race 7, what are you going for? Are you going to favourite?
I'm not going to favourite.
No,
which probably means this will be the
year it comes
one
in.
year that the fave comes in. I just can't. I can't do that myself. I guess. Look, One Smooth Operator. I'll be honest. I've already got a wee bit of money on One Smooth Operator. Currently $8.50. Comes out of the Geelong Cup. Won the Geelong Cup and won it fairly easily. Now that used to be a fairly good guide.
Right.
When it comes to the Melbourne Cup. Not so much in recent years, but just the way that he finished off, I did like that. So one smooth operator at $8.50. And then if you want to go, G Lane mentioned Land Legend before. I don't mind Land Legend myself.
Oh, yeah. That's good. That's giving me hope.
But the other one is Okita Sushi, to be ridden by Jamie Carr. There are 4 female jockeys in the race, and she's one of them, looking to go and do the same thing that Michelle did on Prince of Penzance back in 2015, I think. At 100, they paid $101.
Yeah,
Prince
right.
of Penzance. That's why most people remember.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't on. I'm guessing you two weren't on.
No,
you would have brought it up at the beginning.
I would have known, yeah.
Yeah, so Okita Sushi, I think, gets in at a nice lightweight. And if Jamie can just settle, I think as they come around the turn, he'll have a wee bit left in the tank. I like the way that he's coming into this. He won the Moonee Valley Cup, a week or two ago. I think if he shows that same sort of form,
Yeah.
I think he'll be right in it at the
What
end.
sort of price are you getting for him?
$12 at the moment. Was $21.
Okay.
So they've already come for Okita. So
Oh, geez,
he's one of the.
It'll be 8 after this podcast comes out for you, Watch. Brilliant. Thank you very much, mate. We'll see you down at the full-time bar tomorrow at some stage.
Oh, it's going to be a great day.
Yeah, hell
It
yeah.
will be.
Get along if you can.
Yeah, you got your suits?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've got to find mine, actually. I've got the beige safari suit that I'm wearing every year.
That's right.
I've never washed it.
I've seen it before.
Yeah.
It's a real treat. Get along to full-time bar tomorrow if you can, just to see Lane's short-sleeved suit.
G Lane Irwin.
Oh, yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Paul. Enjoy your day tomorrow.
Thank you, boys. Good luck.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda podcast, brought to you by Export Ultra. For more episodes, like and follow on iHeartradio or wherever you get your podcasts.